Good morning. Finger guns are back at Practical Christian Lessons. I'm Joshua Pearsall, and we are going into Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 20. I still hope people do finger guns. I hope it's not just us people who are like millennials and growing older that still do their finger guns. But if you're younger and you don't, I'm used to being called an old man. It's fine. There is rebuke, which is not timely. Just gonna sweat that one real fast. And there is he who is silent, but has discernment. How much better is it to rebuke than to seethe it with anger? He who confesses his fault will be kept from loss, like the desire of a eunuch to violate a maiden. So is the man who executes justice by violence. There is a man who is silent but is found to be wise, and there is a man who is hateful because he talks too much. There is a man who is silent because he has no answer, and there is a man who is silent because he knows when to speak. A wise man will keep silent until it is the right time to speak, but an arrogant and undiscerning man will speak out of turn. The man who talks too much will be detested, and the man who stands on his rights will be hated. There is prosperity in the midst of adversities, but there is also a sum realized by a sale for a loss. There is a gift that will not profit you, and there is a gift where the repayment is double. There is a loss because of glory, and there is a man who raises his head from a humble state. There is a man who buys much with little, but pays it for it sevenfold. A wise man will make himself beloved through his words, but the kindness of fools will be forgotten. The gift of a senseless man will not benefit you, for his eyes are many instead of one. He will give little, but insult much, and he will open his mouth like a herald. Today he will lend, but tomorrow he will demand it back. Such a man is hateful. A fool will say, I have no friend, and I get no thanks for my good deeds. Those who eat my bread are worthless in their speech. How many will laugh scornfully at him, and how often? A slip on the ground is better than a slip of the tongue. Thus the downfall of evil will come speedily. A man without grace is like a story told at the wrong time. It will continue on the lips of the ignorant. A parable from the lips of a fool will be rejected, for he does not tell it at its proper time. There is one who is hindered from sinning because of his poverty, so when he rests, he will not be pierced with sorrow. There is one who may lose his life through shame, or lose it because of the foolish countenance. There is one who makes a promise to a friend because of shame, and needlessly gains him as an enemy. A lie is an evil disgrace in a man. It will continue on the lips of the ignorant. A thief is preferable to a continual liar. Both, however, will inherit destruction. The character of a liar brings dishonor, and his shame is continually with him. A wise man will advance himself with his words, and a man with discernment will please great men. A man who works the earth will raise up his harvest, and he who pleases great men will atone for wrongdoing. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and like a muzzle on the mouth they turn aside rebukes. Wisdom hidden and unseen treasure, what profit is there in either of them? Better is the man who hides his foolishness than a man who hides his wisdom. Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 20. Wise words indeed. This is going to be the pot calling the kettle black here. I hope that saying is still around. I hope that one never goes away. If you can't gather what it is, the pot's black, the kettle's black. The pot's calling out the kettle for doing something the pot itself is doing. That's the intention of the saying. Is being slow to speak. Certainly not my strongest suit, but discerning when is the right time to talk and learning to be slower in talking is certainly valuable skills. Not that I can't do those at times. I have certainly learned, when I'm just in casual conversations with friends, we're just chilling, we're hanging out, we're relaxing. I'm certainly a lot faster to talk. I'm not as slow to think. I'm not as deliberate with my words, but then there are times, someone comes to you and something bad's happened. Maybe they lost a job, maybe they had a relationship breakup, maybe they're struggling with a sin right now, or they're struggling with the fact that they are sinning and don't feel guilty for their sin. I've been there plenty of times, and I know a lot of people going through that right now, and I know a lot of people in my past and probably in my future. I think that will always be a problem. And you just got to be more careful and slow with your words. That's a big part of the ministry I'm in, in striving side by side, where a lot of people come in with giant anxiety, and the last thing you want to do is say something quick that ends up hurting them. I in my early years of trying to help out there, definitely did that. It's been a ministry that has certainly helped me do this exact thing. It's not a proverb. It's like a proverb. It's a proverb from Jesus ben Sirach, not Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus ben Sirach from long before him. That is just about being slower and deliberate. Because words, I'm not going to go with the whole words are violence thing. They can be at times, though I think it's very much the exception, not the norm. But there are times where your words actually do hurt people. You say a careless word and you can just see your friend's face drop. Or, I read a book that is about being content in the Lord, and it addressed when you lose a child. And if I were to read that, like the section it had on that, to someone who just lost a child, would see a lot more pain on their face than happiness going through it. It was not very pastoral. It was not very caring in the way it addressed the issue. And it can do a lot of harm. It really can, when you speak at the wrong time with the wrong words. And that's why you see it in the Proverbs, you see it in the Psalms, you see it throughout, that there are times where it is better to be slow, it is better to be patient, it is better to think about your words or to say nothing at all. And of course, as I said before, those are the exceptions. Those are not the norm. Most of the time, you're able to speak freely, especially when you're with friends who know you, who understand how you talk, who give you the benefit of the doubt. You can say something, and even if it's something dumb that slips out of your mouth, they'll let you clarify, or they'll know what you mean because they know you. Most of the time, your words aren't going to be causing that big a deal. But there are also plenty of times where you'll need to be in a more serious situation, and that is a hard skill to learn. And it's also a hard switch to flip without going through times where you learn the lesson the hard way. A personal example. But that's my words to you guys, is that if possible, and you can also practice this just in your daily life and even on your own. Of course, maybe not everyone talks to themselves like I do. I talk to myself. I think through a lot of things. I reflect a lot. And if you do that, self-reflection is a great way to practice. Sometimes, when you're self-reflecting, you just start thinking 100 miles a minute. Forcing yourself to slow down, talk your thoughts out loud, and just be more slow, more deliberate with them. Be more slow and deliberate on your reflections. Like, why did I do this? Pause and think about it. Reflect on it. Speak slowly. Why did I commit this sin? What was the temptation that brought me there? Did I open myself up for this? Did it come to me? Right? Walk through those things slowly. And I guess that's my word of encouragement to you guys today, is find ways to practice this skill and to learn it. Because it is a truly valuable skill that will be something you can and will use for the rest of your lives. So take that, go in peace, and God bless.